I feel like there's been so much going on, not only here in the US, as you guys know, with the ICE raids and targeting not only the brown community, but now as far as many other people of color. Um, and you know what? That actually reminds me so much of what's happening in Palestine, where we see these communities, which just happen to be people of color, right? Being oppressed, being abused, being taken advantage of by colonizers, right? By people that were not even part or from those lands in that region. And it's unfortunate that we see that happening so often. But I also, as I sat here and spoke about this, I thought for a moment, it's it's very interesting how there's been so much media coverage on the Latino community getting targeted as of recently, and also Palestine. And that honestly leads me to wonder if there is preferential treatment. Let's keep it real. Or there's this empathy and compassion that arises from people on a global scale when it concerns certain groups, right? And I feel like much of media and entertainment has portrayed the brown community or brown people, people that represent maybe look like me, right, as needing help, as being refugees, as needing a savior or someone to help them and save them. And although it may have served well to some extent for these communities or individuals that look brown, right, or are classified or categorized as brown, right, I do find that there is some form of racism in the midst. Because when I also think about it, I've met friends actually around the same time that the issues were with Palestine were happening. And even prior to that, I believe I had befriended someone that was from Sudan. And as you guys know, there has not been much to any coverage on Sudan, which has not been surprising. And I can also say the same thing about here in the US. The US has targeted the Black community historically, has oppressed the Black community historically, and oppressed other communities historically. But it's always interesting to see how there's always more attention and coverage on certain groups. And this is not to make differentiations, but to see how biased this world is. Not only this country, this world is, right? Where we want to show compassion and empathy only to certain communities and groups, but we don't even care to show that compassion and empathy to other communities that have been oppressed. And you know what? I also want to leave you guys with a reminder that, or just a statement, or a question perhaps, who is the one oppressing in this case, right? Who are the ones being the oppressor? Who are the ones inflicting pain and evil? Because it's so sad that individuals that have colonized the world have been always painted as the good guy or the good woman or girl, whatever. But yet, history proves that to not be true. And let's not forget that. So I just want to leave you guys with that. Just check in with all those things. Of course, I am very saddened and I'm really just troubled by what is happening. And honestly, I do sense that there is something happening in the midst where things are changing on a global level. This is just my theory, where the powers at play will be changing. This is my theory at play once again, because not every empire remains an empire. And don't forget that. So what's happening here is, unfortunately, as they say, what goes around comes around. And I've said this many times naturally, but also you reap what you sow. And it's sad to see humans forget that very thing, and also to abandon their morality, abandon their integrity, and just be unkind. I've always I've always I've always wondered what is happening in the minds and heart of these types of individuals, where they leave compassion, right, at the door, where they leave humanity at the door. It's really sad that that's how low humans can go, right?